Netflix animated film K-Pop Demon Hunters was a major hit when it released back in 2025, and one of the reasons for that said success was due to its near-universal relatability with children, adults, and adults who still have the mentality of children, that me. In fact, the story following a trio of K-pop stars that also double as demon hunters, respect for women who work 2 jobs, y'all, struck a chord with many an audience member last year, mostly because the lead character Rumi hides the fact that she is half demon from her fellow hellspawn slaying compatriots, a heritage that she is ashamed of, just like the people of Nebraska. And this narrative is immensely applicable to the daily lives of most people because, on some level, we all have aspects of our lives that bring us great shame, meaning that it's easy to understand why so many people connected with this film. However, there is one very specific community that resonated with K-Pop Demon Hunters' story more so than any other viewer demographic. One particular group of people that felt especially represented by the movie's narrative and themes, which is to say, the gays. And by just taking a cursory glance towards K-Pop Demon Hunters' thematic core, the parallels between the film's protagonist Rumi and the LGBTQ experience become glaringly obvious. Like Rumi being ashamed of her secret demonic identity reflects that of a coming-out narrative. And add on their religious angle and a forbidden romance, how could the queer community not be enamored by this movie when its story just hits home for so many of us? Because honestly, K-Pop Demon Hunters just feels tailor-made to capture the LGBTQ experience. It just hits. But admittedly, there was a caveat to this. See, there hadn't really been a confirmation over whether or not K-Pop Demon Hunters' queer-adjacent storyline was created intentionally. Hell, I even said as much in my videos on the topic that I released last year, given how director Maggie Kong and other creatives on the project were mum on the film being an intentional gay allegory. Sure, the creative team were cognizant of these LGBTQ themes, but those ideas were fused with other types of shame that we can feel either culturally or with addiction and relapse. Meaning there was no confirmation that the LGBTQ themes were more than just incidental, or at the very least utilize LGBTQ-styled thematic storytelling in broad strokes to capture the universal idea of shame. Which admittedly, the latter is technically the case, but recent revelations have changed things. Mostly because there has been an update that proves that K-Pop Demon Hunters' queer attributes were more than just incidental and more than just broad strokes. A few weeks ago, Hannah McMechan, one of K-Pop Demon Hunters' 3 primary writers, publicly revealed that she came out as bisexual during the creative process of the film. Talking with People magazine, link in the description, McMechan discussed her life experience and how it affected the film since joining the project all the way back in the distant past of 2020. Per McMechan in the article, "When I started the project, I had no idea that I was queer. Then we went into the pandemic and everyone was soul-searching and realizing things about themselves." End quote. During this time, McMechan, awesome name, eventually did discover her bisexual identity, saying, "Every time we rewatched K-Pop Demon Hunters or finished another draft, I was at such a different place in my life, where the story took on a new meaning every single time." End quote. McMechan then discussed one scene that had particular resonance, the one with the emotional kick in the balls, where Rumi's adoptive mother, Celine, more or less discouraged Rumi from embracing her demonic identity, an aspect of her identity that also featured visible characteristics, such as change in eye color and markings across her body. If anything, Celine preferred Rumi to hide her demonic traits, as if being born that way was something to be ashamed of, when all Rumi desired was to just be accepted as who she was, something that Celine was unwilling to do. Per McMechan in the article, by the 4th, 5th screenings, it was that scene where it's like, "Why don't you love me? All of me." It just took on such a different meaning. This literally feels how I feel with my mom because she's so religious. End quote. What's most fascinating when learning these details about McMechan is that K-pop Demon Hunters now reads more than just being an LGBTQ coming out allegory. Instead, it now also comes across as a queer woman learning about and then embracing her identity via the creative process. Like in the People magazine article, McMechan discusses how she originally felt shame and that she hid her identity from others, including K-pop Demon Hunters directors in Maggie Kong and Chris Applehands, as well as how coming out to her own mother didn't go very well. And all these ideas are present in K-pop Demon Hunters' various plot points. While McMechan did not set out to create a gay allegory, more on that in a second, this turbulent time of her life clearly had a major impact on the movie's script, like Rumi's aforementioned well-meaning yet unsupportive mother, Rumi's self-loathing and shame towards herself, how Rumi hides her demonic character traits from her closest peers in fear of being rejected, and then there's just how Rumi eventually accepts her identity, embracing herself for who she is. And all of these are aspects that echo McMechan's life when it came to helping create K-pop Demon Hunters. And once again, McMechan said she didn't set out to do this. It just kind of happened despite how she was still deep in the abyss of one's closet. Per the article, I wasn't even talking about my bisexuality when we were writing. I was like, I'm not telling anyone this. I don't even want to accept this to be true. It wasn't even something that I discussed with directors Maggie Kong or Chris Applehands. I wasn't like, hey, here's my queer journey, let's put it in. I'm sure it bled into the writing, even though I did not tell anyone. End quote. Thankfully, McMechan eventually, like K-pop Demon Hunters' main protagonist, embraced her identity and came out, which is dope as shit and is worth celebrating. With that being said though, there are some folks who will be annoyed by learning this factoid. After all, this is YouTube, and when it comes to the media criticism aspect of this platform, grievance and grift is the end user's stock and trade, meaning that any mention of LGBTQ things on this platform receives some pushback from the more ignorant among us. You know, the worst people. Regardless, this story matters. K-pop Demon Hunters was one of 2025's most successful movies, animated or otherwise, and one of the primary reasons for that said success was due to its emotional core. An emotional core spawning from a woman's sense of shame regarding the very fabric of her identity, and ultimately over time, accepting the beauty inherent to what makes her unique. Because whether we are talking about McMechan or Rumi, these women both desired to live authentically, to live their truths, meaning that K-pop Demon Hunters' narrative and the lived experience of McMechan are inseparable. They are intertwined. So yeah, thank you for watching another episode of Biological Riley. Please like, subscribe, share, and leave a comment telling me what you thought of this video and its respective topic. Also, definitely consider supporting my channel and Patreon, which will allow you to see some early access videos and allow your name to be seen on the credits here. If Patreon isn't your jam right now, you can still support my channel through a one-time donation via Ko-fi, which will earn you a temporary credit for videos released in the following month. Any financial assistance is always appreciated. Links in the description. Thanks again for the support. See you next time.